Uh, Today I'm going to be talking about a cup of coffee. Not really, but 1 second. So I read this thing on the forum yesterday. I believe it was trader Zara. His statement was something like, when should I move the position into move the stop into lock, or when should I do this to make sure my position is safe, right? So I'll give my ideas on this matter. Firstly, though, that's this stream, and it will not be a long stream, but I'm just gonna give my ideas upon it. I'm Alexander.Tatsumaki. I trade managed accounts, trade for clients. That I will not disclose. And what you will see today is my ideas. It's not trading advice. It's not meant for anyone to try to do what I do, but it's at least what I think about this subject, and it's my opinion, and it's limited to that only. Now then, let's get on with the show. So let's find it first. Now, what you see in the background is a screen. We will use it later. I will show you something. I believe this. Let me adjust this thing. Okay, this is great. So what I said was, this guy has been doing some good trading and showing some good results. But this statement here, my new problem is giving floating profits back to the market. I bet it's not a new problem, but it's a problem nonetheless, and something that I've been thinking about quite a bit. The way I do this, and mind you, the reason for this stream is to answer this question, right? The way I do it is I consider certain places on the chart to be important, certain places on the chart to be important, as this, where price is created low and came back up, and another low is created at that time. Both this and this are important, and then of course that is important. The things that happen in between here and here are very much less, to a much less degree, important, and because of that much less useful. And that's the entire basis of the reasoning here. So the idea is, because I analyze the chart, I look at the chart, and the chart tells me, okay, this area is important, this area is resistance or support resistance, and that means third, I can use it to do something because of it. And because of this logic, what happens in between those areas are not as important, and I'm not looking at them at all. So really, let's moving on. Yeah, if you look at this statement by moderator Dizin for Ans, he said immediately count stop loss for the pips, not available and lost, or yeah, and he doesn't. So basically, the statement here is describing a set and a forget approach. I did trade this way for some accounts a few years back, and what I've come to realize, the conclusion of the trading like this, is that the results are somewhat erratic, somewhat choppy, but given the right entry and risk management, not risk management, but money management, I believe this approach is viable. It has its advantages, and yeah. So that's one way of doing it, set and forget. but that's not what I currently believe to be the best way of doing it. Now, let me just do this, this, and this. Pop out chat. You never know, we might get some questions. So, back to the screen. This and this. Now, that leads me to the next example. So, set and forget is one thing. Here, moderator Georges describes one position he took short and dollar Swiss. And okay. And I believe I asked him later on. Maybe not on this one. I did ask. I wanted to know. Okay, where will you lock this? I asked last week, but so because I want to know what the reasoning is. And in my opinion, if you look at this chart, the take profit is it's too short. Yeah, it should be here, and the lock should be at this placement here, and that's what I think about this one. So if we do that, I can show you some things. Let me just bring up the programs. Right, this one. And let's do this. I'm just creating a crazy picture right now. 1 second. Like this. Like this. And then. So, understanding the reasoning that I will describe here is everything. In my opinion, it's everything. Right? So, now, see, I brought the paint window so I can create some awesome pictures, right? So let's do this, it's kind of this way. So, if I want to zoom it in, I couldn't, that's way too much, okay, never mind. So, basically what he's doing is, he's shorting it here, right? In this area, he's adding a short, right? And he's gonna take profit here. Let's keep the colors. This is where it should be important. This is where I want to have it, and this area is important. This area is important. Now look at this chart. What do we have on this chart? We have this top here, and later something happens, and we have the same top again. What's important about these two tops? Is any of these bars here, are they important? Why? Why would they be important? Why would they be something that matters? Right? What's important in my opinion is prices come back to a level that it has been before. This level, the first time, had so much power that it could turn price and go the other way, go down, right? And then price came back. What's important after price comes back? Right, from where does price come? This place. So if price comes here and doesn't have the power to go higher, and then creates the top again, what I'm looking for is how much power did price have? It came down to this area, right? So then what's important is this, later this, and then this, right? All these things that happen in between are, sure, they provide some information, but they are not something that I will use to trade. So, more on this subject. Now, so we have this top, double top, three tops, and he chooses to place a short. Okay, fine. If this trade works out or not, that's not the point. The point is coffee. The point is the methodology, the plan, how to attack this trade, right? So he chose to put a take profit here. It's a small swing area in the structure, yes, but it's not where we had power, right? I mean, the power to go up came from this point, sure, but because this high is not important, then this low is not important also. So again, with the same logic, we have three tops from this ultimate high, one of the three tops. We have the ultimate low in between them, this place. This is the place where price had power to go up, and it could come all this way. It came this way. So in my opinion, this is where the take profit should be, and not at this place. Now, so at what point do we lock this trade? That is something different, right? If we look at this structure here, we could almost create like a box, and I know it will be a lot of I'll draw a lot of craziness on the screen, but yeah, this is what I have to work with right now, so you just have to bear in mind. If we look at this, inside this square, a lot of things happened, right? Pretty much this to this. From this, in this box, a lot of things happened, right? Chopped around, chop, 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 and then came back to the top, right? The low, the top, and the chop in the middle. Makes sense? So, if this is the chop in the middle, and I believe that it is when I look at the chart, there's no real way to define what is the chop or what it is. It's when I look at the chart, I see something, and from my experience, I draw conclusions, and this is how I reason. So this is the chop. If price comes back to the chop area, I'd rather not be long anymore. Also, there will be a small pause in the price action at the top, and while price stays within that chop area, I will do nothing. Meaning, if price stays within this square, I will do nothing. Now, let's draw this more precisely, right? Let's draw it more exact. So we have the this is exactly what we have, right? Pretty much. Can we see? Is this color good? Let's see. What color do we have? Black is good, I see. All right. This is the final high structure, in my opinion. This is a high, a high, a high. They should be important on H4, probably not on D1. But if price leaves this structure and enters the chop structure below, then I don't want to be long anymore, right? So I will predefine this area. Note that I don't count the spikes. I count the closing prices here. I just you can see it, and I'm gonna draw it. So I'm gonna make it bigger. Now, for each individual trade, I will reason differently, and I will create these areas, these zones, and I will later use the rules that I created before I entered the trade. I will use these rules to manage the trade. Now, for this particular trade, two things are apparent to me. We had some high here, low, small high, basically a small structure, mini structure inside. This is the daily chart, I believe. Yeah, inside the daily chart, right? And if price enters this structure, pretty much closes here, it may end up reacting like this top again, right? And these seen several times. It may end up reacting to that. I'm not interested in that. So because and also if it comes down to this level where it reacted previously, something may happen there. So because of these two areas, one of two possibilities may be true. For me personally, if I would enter this trade, I don't trade this particular pair because I trade the euro and I feel like it's way too correlated to even bother. Now, if price comes to this point, I may choose to lock it. Or if price comes to this point, I may choose to lock it. What would I have done in this particular case? I would choose the above area. And then I would choose to lock it. If price comes to that place, lock. If price does not come to that place, nothing. I will do nothing. There's a stop loss above the position. Should be sufficient. If it's not, I will have to close it manually if there's a gap or whatever, but this is the daily chart. That is very unlikely. I would say highly unlikely. In another example, I may choose to use this area like this, and if price comes to that place, I will lock the trade, and if it does not come to that place, I will do nothing. These rules are made up before the trade is entered, and that's all there is to it. Really all there is to it. Let's see if I can show you another example. I'm just going to turn the screen off. I'm going to bring up another let me just quickly find a good example. What do I have? Oh, this is chop, this is chop, this is chop, this is, oh yes. So I have I can show you another. I'm having some fun with C-Trader. I was trading with C-Trader before a while ago, and I just wanted to have a look at it again and see what the limits are to it. And it has some interesting functions and functionality that I want to try out. And yeah. So let's see now. Put the screen back on. Right. So what you're seeing here is C-Trader. And I'm not at all familiar with it anymore, but I was before. So what we're seeing here is some sort of structure. Here we had power to go up to the high, to the recent high, break them, and create a higher high. And I choose to put a short here. I count this entire thing as one area, but I choose to put the short here. Now for this particular position, this is the CAD, I think, CAD. The C-Trader has functionality where I can choose to move stop loss to break even, add a number of pips, and trigger when a number of pips happen. So for this particular example, it's 15 and 88. Now, the entry is here at the dotted line. Let's see what 15 is. 15 is here, so it's within this kind of choppy range. And 88 is probably this, or yeah, it's this low, right? Basically, when price reaches the low of this structure that coincides with the previous top, and close to this, like close to 3, when price reaches that area that coincides with the previously created tops, there was power there before, there was a reaction there before. I don't really want to sit on my hands and you know, do nothing. I want to make sure that this trade is safe at that point. So I choose when price comes to this area, if it comes to this area, to lock it, right? And the take profit is here and the stop is there, as you see. And where will it be locked? It will simply be locked within this structure, right? Because that's 15. So here, where I have the line right now, it will be locked. And why will the lock be there? No particular reason, more than my eyes are telling me that, okay, this is the top of a range that was a chop. And it gives me some sufficient margin, whatever. Will this particular trade work out? How should I know? I don't know. I don't have a clue. I just put down positions. It's what I do, right? So yeah, that's the mentality. important areas. What are important areas, and when to lock the trade. And I call the areas lock zone. Lock zone. You can call it what you like. This is how I operate, and maybe it's something that you can think about for your own trading, and something that maybe you could use. I have no idea. If you have a better way of doing it, let me know, or don't. Right? I'm going to show you something else. Another example is this dollar yen. We had power here, created a high, we had power here. Now I could outline this if I wanted to, just for just for showing you, right? We had power here. When this it's created, that means that this has the power to create the same low, and it means this area is important. And we come down and we go up and down, and I had this outlined before. It's not outlined anymore. Creates a high, creates a similar low as this. At that point, this is important, right? Now this is the ultimate low, and this is, and this, and 3 times the ultimate low, right? Price later comes back up. This is not important at that time. Price comes back down to the same level, and then this is important, because it means if we had the power from this place to create a similar low, suddenly we have the power at this place to create a similar low. It must mean that this has the same amount of power as this had, or at least could push the price as far, and thus was as important. Now, the lock zone. Yeah, so I recently added a short here. It may or may not work out. Who knows, right? Lock zone is down here. For this particular example, I see that the spikes below this chop area here, there are some spikes below it, and this is the low, and there are some spikes above it. So that's why I outlined the top range with these spikes and the bottom range with these spikes, and I designate this area a lock zone. If price comes here, I will lock this position, and that's really all there is to it. That can be automated with CTrader. It can be automated with MetaTrader as well, but in the basic version it doesn't have the same functionality. There is only the dynamic stop. There is not at the pip level and add a pip level built into the MetaTrader. Of course, this could be created with an EA, but that's not what today's subject is about. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. If you're wondering about the account, it's about 2079 currently. 2090 is up right now. It's 11. Cable is I was added along. I decided to add along to the cable actually. It, because of this black bar, looked so nice in my opinion. I decided to add along, and we'll see how this reacts. Lock zone is this blue area here, or take profit is this blue area, right? And the stop is here. So because there's no apparent lock zone in this, and we had a recent chop and like some we had a stop of the force, right? Price just went down, stopped at this level for whatever reason. If we have a substantial break of price just going into this area, like a huge black bar, like not like this is too big, but just a black bar, right? Really showing at me that price does not want to stay within this range anymore. If we have a bar closing here or here, it's not nothing, but if this tomorrow we have a bar starts here and closes here, big fat bar closing up here, it shows me that the power to contain price within that range is over pretty much, because it was completely destroyed as such a bar like this, as you see, the range, and then boom, big bar. It's really substantial to see it go down, right? At that point I would choose to lock this trade, but as it stands, this particular position has no lock zone, and I'm I'm not doing any adjustments to that at all at this time. So I hope you learned some of my reasoning. And please remember, these are my thoughts, these are my ideas, this is how I do things. It's not meant for you to think that you should do it like this. Although I believe that this is a good method, I encourage you to use your own brain. Please check out the trading disclaimer in the box, or the one that will appear over here when the stream is done. Always use what's in your head. And yeah, I hope you learned something. Bye.